The Carolina Hurricanes just took on the Vancouver Canucks, came out on the winning end of that deal 2-0 as Dustin Tokarski gets his first shutout as a Carolina Hurricane. That's the second time that we've had a third string goalie get a shutout this season, so happy days on that regard. If you do notice, both of our backgrounds are slightly different. We are currently in the Philadelphia area at a hotel. So don't mind us. We'll be back in our normal recording places on Sunday for the full episode. But to go into the game, break it down. Carolina, 20 shots on goal, Vancouver, 14. I want to preface that point because we're going to get to it here in a second. But the face-off percentage, Vancouver taking the win in that regard, 53-47 so far in this game. Both teams 0 for 3 on the power play. And then Vancouver smoking us in the hit department, 25-10. And then Carolina. This is my favorite stat to see so far, and this is where we're going to start. Carolina Hurricanes had 27 blocked shots tonight compared to Vancouver's 13. You want to know the difference between a 2-0 hockey game one way versus another? You triple the amount of blocked shots you put on the other team. I promise you're more than likely coming out on the winning end. I'm just, from what we saw from the Hurricanes the past month or so to now, we're seeing massive progression in the right direction. We're seeing the defensive zone take a massive step up in that direction. And we're seeing everybody start to buy back into the system that we've seen for the past 4 years, 5 years. And it's good to see because this is the way Carolina hockey should be played. Not from the last part of the year, but from this part of the year, this is how Carolina Hurricanes hockey should be played. And I'm just happy to see it. But I'm going to pass it over to you. What do you what's that feeling you get when you see Carolina having 27 block shots in a game when the most I've seen previous to this was like 10 to 15?
Yeah, no, I think, from the standpoint of that, I think they've been buying into that over the last handful of games. Even last night's game against Toronto, they bought in. They were blocking shots there too. They were getting in front. They were getting in the dirty areas, which they haven't been before, or with any regularity. So I just think that they kind of hit a bump and they're back into, buying in, everybody, every man pulling on the rope in the same direction. And it's exactly what we need. Is it sustainable? I hope so, because it's what we need to be successful. And I think we're getting tougher to play against. We're getting meaner to play against. We get that meanness is coming out in us. So at the end of it, that's going to be the difference between a team that will go deep in the playoffs and have a very Florida-esque like look to them, where they're gonna not be awful to play against, and you're gonna hate coming into this building, and you're gonna hate seeing them come into your building, and you're seeing it more and more, and even guys like Natchez, he's I don't remember what game it was. He stopped a 2-on-1 and sprawled himself out in the crease, and it took a risk that he was going to could potentially get hurt. I don't remember what game that was, but when guys like him start buying in, and Jack Roslovic last night, I thought was probably one of his best games as a Hurricane, on the back end. So I think guys like that, when they start buying into the program, then it starts to elevate everybody's game, and Svech being a very power forward. I mean, you and I saw it tonight. I mean, he is becoming, and it will continue to become, that big power forward that we need. And but it's just exciting to see the way the team's turning the corner at this point.
Yeah, so we will switch over to the 2 goals on the night. Jordan Staal getting his 4th in 2 days, which is happy to see for Jordan Staal. If he starts scoring this regularly, I'm super happy and super stoked for him. And then Andrei Svechnikov getting the 2nd of the night. And I did want to point out this Andre goal because I know you had just brought it up, but the one thing I loved about it wasn't a finesse goal. There was a little bit of finesse in it, but it was majority power. It was just out muscling 2 guys, getting to the front of the net and getting into a shooting angle. That's what Andrei Svechnikov's game needs to be built off of. He has a ton of skill, 100%. But so does a guy like Matthews. So does a guy like Brady Tkachuk. Both those guys have a ton of skill, a ton. But what they do is they know when to utilize that skill and when not to. And a guy like Andre, he tends to try and overthink the game and overcomplicate it from time to time. That goal tonight was a perfect example of what Andrei Svechnikov games needs to be. It needs to be a quick, powerful, just beating the living wheels off of the other guy and getting to the front of the net. When Svechnikov gets to the front of the net, it is night and day how much better he is as a player versus when he's playing a perimeter game. Because when he's net front, hey, I don't know about you. I know you played D all growing up. How hard is it to move a guy that's 6'3", 215 in front of the net?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
no,
easy.
it's not easy. It's almost impossible
It's
sometimes.
it's so hard to move a guy with that frame on him, and it's like, "Hey, Andre, you're built that way. I understand you also have a plethora of skill with you, but in the NHL, you have to build a role. You have to know your role. Andrei Svechnikov role is not to be the skill guy. It's not to be the overall finesse player. It's to be that power forward that every team needs. You look at Vancouver, the team we just played, they have one of the best power forwards in the league. Now, granted, there's so much drama going on in Vancouver between Elias
Yeah.
Pettersson and JT Miller that they can't even be on the same ice together. But you put JT Miller on any other cup contender, he's one of the best players in the league come playoff time. That's the player Andrei Svechnikov can be. I'm just happy to see us going in that direction. I do want to change topics here real quick. Carolina's power play 0 for 3 again tonight. I know we're missing Shane Gostisbehere, but we've been ice cold on the power play in the past 3 weeks, it feels like. Outside of Shane Gostisbehere, what have you noticed out of this power play that's like, hey, we need to make an adjustment? Is it just, and I guess I'll pose this question to you, is it just Shane Gostisbehere that's causing this much of a setback from where we were at the beginning of the year? Or is it something different? I kind of want to get your 2 cents on it.
No, I think the biggest thing is the motion has gone away. There's no movement. There's no flow to what the power play used to look like. Um, I think they need to juggle it up a little bit. I mean, they took Ty Smith off and they put Burns up on the first power play on the pivot, but I think throwing even a guy like Jackson Blake up on the first power play unit. I think giving him some reps up there with that group. And I don't know if you throw down, maybe you throw down, Natchez or somebody on that second power play unit.
It'd probably be
Um,
Natchez or Jarvis. So it's one of those two
yeah,
guys that would be
but I
kicked
like
off.
I would like the combo of Jarvis and Blake. I like that because I think Jarvis is really good on the half wall. I think Blake is really good on the half wall, and I think he'd be a really good um, quarterback from that side of the ice with Jarvie in the bumper, or Aho in the bumper, one of those two guys, or hell, even Blake in the bumper. Put one of those three guys in the bumper. Any one of them could do it. But the key is we got to get moving because teams have keyed in on that. There's no motion to our power play right now, and it's so easy to defend. And we take such high risk shots that, and we're doing it to ourselves. So we're giving ourselves no opportunity to score a goal, for the most part. Every once in a while we'll have a good look here or there, but we just have to find ways to get moving again and get motion and get the penalty killers just spinning around in circles. Because once we do that, it opens up a ton of opportunities. And so that's what I see. I just think we're too stagnant right
Yeah.
now.
One of the best things I ever heard in college, one of the few things that I heard in college that really stuck with me, as funny as that is to say, but on a power play, motion creates confusion, and confusion creates gaps. So if you are moving on your power play and you're not stagnant, it creates openings, and when openings create, you create scoring chances. So yes, there are some plus sides to having a station or having guys in certain areas for a majority of the time because when you're not having to think about where you're throwing the puck to, you just know a guy's going to be over in that area. 100%. That can make a difference in a power play. But you know what also makes a difference in a power play? When the other team doesn't know where the hell you're going to be. Because it's so hard to defend when you don't know where the guy's going versus if you know the guy's going to stay. No, Marty Natchez is never going to leave that half wall. He's going to stay on that half wall the entire time. He's also probably not going to shoot the puck. Majority of the time, he's going to try and go cross seam with it or back up to the point. So you don't have to pressure Marty Natchez. I mean, it just
Just
goes simple as that because he's going to either get rid of the puck through the middle, which is probably going to end up as a turnover and down the other way, or he's going to bump it back to the point man, and it's just going to kind of keep cycling up top because the big thing is you go watch Marty Natchez in the first 2 months of the season, month and a half of the season on the power play specifically. Watch how much he's moving through that entire time. There are times he's stagnant, 100%. There's a wrist shot goal. I forget on who, but it was he just kind of walks in and just takes a quick snapshot from that same area. But what created that was he was on the other side of the ice in the other corner fishing a puck out. We go up to Aho. He wheels around the backside of the net, gets lost, and opens himself up into that position. You can't get lost if you don't move. It's as simple as that. One final thing before we move off of this topic. Carolina only allowing 14 shots on goal on a back-to-back game. Carolina's biggest, I feel like pet peeve, or not pet peeve, but biggest downfall in this past month has been how soft we've been defensively. 14 shots on goal. I know this kind of goes back to the block shot set of things, but what was the positives you saw from Carolina's defensive game tonight? Because I thought up and down the lineup is probably one of our most complete games that we've played on the defensive side of the puck.
yeah, we kept him out of those high danger areas, and we gave Tokarski the opportunity to get into another game and to settle in. And sometimes it could bite you in the ass too, because you don't know if if he doesn't see a lot of shots, then is he going to start feeling the puck? And if he doesn't feel the puck, then he gets the rare grade A that comes his way, and boom, it's in the back of the net. So, but I do think that selling out, committing to blocking shots, eating pucks, that in my mind is a symptom of a great thing that's happening with this team. And it shows on the shot chart. So I mean, it could have easily been those 27 block shots could have been 22 shots on goal, if they would have gotten through. So I think it's a culmination of a lot of things, but it just overall it just shows the commitment of these guys to eating pucks and taking one for the team, as the old cliche says. And
Yep.
I just think it's exciting to see, because we need it heading into the second half of the season.
100%. The one final thing I'll leave everybody on is the best thing that I saw tonight was we actually cleared out the front of the net. Tokarski was able to see a lot of shots, and we were able to get rid of a lot of rebounds. So those are two positive things we were able to see. But anyways, that is our post-game breakdown of the Vancouver Carolina game, and we will see you for the pregame coverage of the Carolina Anaheim game. I'm pretty sure it's Anaheim on Sunday, right?
It is. It's
Uh,
Anaheim. Mhm.
Perfect. All right, so we'll see you back then. All right, bye now.